Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat.
And a wonderful morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And it's one of those damp days, but what to do? We must be more careful when we're driving and so on, and be mindful of the weather conditions. And but what we have to discuss this morning is anything but damp. Sri Lanka awakes to the news in almost every single newspaper going that the Prime Minister has issued a statement that he is ready to give evidence before the Bond Probe Commission. Every paper, including the Island, the Daily News, of course, is carrying that in big, bold letters there. The Daily Mirror has doesn't really say much about that, and the Ceylon Today, in this wonderful paper here, says Ranil ready to go before PCOI. To discuss whether this is all in order and if Mr. Wickramasinghe will make a compelling witness is none other than that vociferous critique of public interest matters, Mr. Rusripala Tennakoon. Very good morning to you, Mr. Tennakoon.
Good morning, Faraz.
Thank you very much for being here at short notice and responding to the changing news trends that's happened. Now then, Ranil ready to go before Presidential Commission of Inquiry. Is it necessary?
Of course.
Why is it necessary?
It is necessary for quite a number of reasons. But before that, I must say, I don't think the people are expecting so much as an announcement from him in this regard. It looks more a political stunt than a genuine intention. So if the Prime Minister, as the Minister in charge of the Central Bank, feels, other than we will give the reasons why it is compelling, but if he himself feels that his evidence is important to go before the Commission, all these announcements are not necessary. He can call the Commission and say that I am the Minister in charge of the subject. I like to come and give a statement. And one doesn't have to wait, in my opinion, Faraz, until he is called up.
No, that's right. On the 7th of February 2017, there was a letter sent to by the Attorney General to the Secretary General of the Parliament on this matter. What does that say?
It says very clearly, as a prerequisite to determining or taking action on the basis of a criminal offence, this particular one, the scam, a complaint to the police is necessary. Now, we see number of things are happening, but what has been asked or requested doesn't seem to be happening. Now, we haven't seen or we haven't heard any complaint being made in that respect with regard to this matter arising out of this need. And this is more important because in the context of the proclamation made by the President in his Gazette notification, he very clearly says this Commission of Inquiry will be in addition to any ongoing investigations or investigations that have to be started. Now see how clear it is.
It's absolutely clear.
He had no intention to make this commission or because of this commission to stop or deviate any action that was being taken or to be taken. But the whole question is now when the Attorney General says a complaint should be lodged to determine whether this matter should be treated as a criminal prosecution. I mean, nothing has been done. So therefore, I think there are a lot of lapses, and I think no one other than the Minister in charge of the subject, Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, is in a position to come and explain for himself as to why all this, how all this happened. And besides that, you know, I have a small leaflet that the UNP published before the last parliamentary election.
I see.
Yes. Now in this, it is very clearly stated.
Who's that fat chap there?
some comical figure.
Right.
I don't know.
But this matter is anything but comical.
Of course. Now, no, it's very serious.
Yeah.
I must say, there is nothing comical or cynical about this whole thing.
Yeah.
The country and we, the critics, are looking at it in the most highly possible seriousness that we can allude to this.
Right.
Nothing short of that.
Right.
So this paper says,
yeah.
වරදකරුවන් වන සියලු දෙනාට නිසි දඬුවම් ලබා දෙන බවට අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමා සහතික වී තිබෙනවා. කලින් වාක්‍යය කියනවා අගෝස්තු 10 වෙනිදාට පත්වෙන පාර්ලිමේන්තුව පත් වූ විගස මේ ගැන සිදු කළ කෝප් කොමිටු පරීක්ෂණය විධිමත් ලෙස ඉදිරියට ගෙන යන බව අගමැතිතුමා සහතික වී තිබෙනවා. You know, sorry. This is for us in the context of the aborted first COPE committee.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know the first...
Yes, I was wondering if you would do the honors and tell us in English.
Exactly. I wanted to explain for the viewers' benefit.
Yeah.
Now, we remember very clearly...
And for mine.
Yeah. Sure, most certainly. We remember very clearly...
Yeah.
There was a COPE committee, the first COPE committee that was appointed.
Yes.
Hurriedly, rushingly, with all kinds of impediments, they prepared a report.
Yeah.
And on the day the report was to be tabled in the parliament was dissolved.
Yeah.
And there was chaos in the country.
Indeed.
They were asking why? Why did it happen? Because people were very seriously interested to find out exactly what has happened, and from no one other than a committee of inquiry appointed by the parliament.
And what a crying shame it was, because it was this new ambience that came into being on the 8th of January.
And this statement became necessary in the context of the dissolution of the parliament before the committee report was tabled, because they wanted to eliminate the doubts of the people. Remember, the importance is the voters will be worried. So they had to put the mindset correct in the voters.
It was so important that they thought it fit to put it into a special leaflet.
And furthermore, on the 17th of March 2015, in the heat of the first bond accusation, the Prime Minister made a statement in the Parliament.
Yeah.
And in that statement too, he went beyond even this, what the leaflet said that I quoted. He said, we will pass laws to tax the culprits. Not only that, he also stated very clearly, we will even recover the loot.
Yes.
I have the statement with me.
Indeed.
We don't have time to do all that, but you can be rest assured.
It's there.
It is
there.
It is
there.
Definitely. He says, laws will be passed to tax these people
and to recover the money.
Now the question is, he has not done anything. Neither the government has done anything other than this appointment of the commission.
Thanks to the President.
I have a message for us. Can any right-thinking MP, individual MP, can bring an individual resolution or proposal in the Parliament, proposal for an act to bring legislation to recover these looted monies? Will there be an MP to do that? I don't know. But if there is anybody who has the mindset to do such a thing, there is enough room in our legislation for him to bring a what is the individual resolution.
Now, thank you for the several messages that we are becoming known to receive now. So do keep sending them in. I'll just as well you were saying this message has come through. Can't you, I presume me, or Mr. Rusripala make a complaint regarding the scam?
I mean, that's not what was expected by the Attorney General.
That's right.
The Attorney General's department, in their letter addressed to the Secretary General of the Parliament, probably and most certainly in response to a query made from the Parliament, says that a complaint has to be made. I mean, there are enough authorities who can make the complaint, and the minister in charge can make the authorities to make a complaint.
Shall we? I just want to say this, just in case that, because we know that our program is being watched across the spectrum, and I just want to make this point here that we are not, this program, neither I nor Mr. Sripala or any of our guests actually, are making any sort of orders or suggestions. We are expressing the public viewpoint. It's up to, we are very aware that it's up to the commissioners to compel or not anyone to come before them. We're not commenting about that. What we are saying is, we're discussing today the merits of Mr. Wickramasinghe going to before the Commission of Inquiry. I just thought better clarify that.
Most certainly, Faraz.
Yes.
We have to be not misunderstood by anybody what our intentions are.
Yes, and I think we need to, Shamindra Ferdinandez says, now it is up to the Bond Commission to request the Prime Minister to come. It is their responsibility. I mean, the Bond Commission doesn't have to wait for anyone to offer to come. If they want to, they can tell them to come.
Not at all.
Yeah.
The connected, related state of affairs that prevail about this bond scam.
Yeah.
There are so many references and inroads into areas where the minister in charge of the subject, Prime Minister, has to make an explanation by himself.
Yeah.
Now take for example, who were the last two witnesses who gave evidence? Mr. Malik Samaravikrama
And Mr. Kabir Hashim.
and Mr. Kabir Hashim.
But Mr. Rispal, they weren't questioned by the Attorney General's Department.
I'm in total agreement with the Commission's standing and the Attorney General's Department officials standing on that matter, because there was nothing to cross-examine from them.
Right.
They were brought before the Commission to ascertain only one fact.
Yeah.
That is, whether there was a meeting held on the 26th of February, and for what purpose that meeting was held, and what was the amount that they decided, because there is a contravening position.
I would have liked them to have asked Mr. Kabir Hashim as to how he came up with the 15 billion.
No, he said we were short of 18 billion.
Right.
He said.
Right.
And they said that the government has already found 3 billion.
Yes.
I mean, if you analyze this evidence, I mean, people, the laymen, they, without going into these details, may feel, oh, they were not questioned. They were
Now, I want to ask you something. Did Kabir Hashim, in your view, did he pluck 18 billion out of the air and say, well, I got the 3 anyway. I need 15. Did he pluck it out of the air, rather like that 40,000 figure about the war, right?
Faraz.
Or did he get the RDA to, was the process followed? That's what I'm trying to find out.
No, Faraz, this Commission of Inquiry comprises of very senior, very experienced legal luminaries. They, even for the prosecution and the Commission itself, they don't need any further evidence to establish the fact that this was a cooked up ruse, to...
A very relevant question from a viewer. Is it the usual practice when a ministry wants urgent funds to go directly to the central bank, or is it not the practice to ask the Ministry of Finance through a supplementary estimate?
That irregularity and that unusual approach has already been established before the Commission through number of witnesses.
Even this breakfast meeting that you're referring to.
I am referring to the breakfast meeting. Even the Finance Ministry officials came and said this is not the procedure, and we did not have a requirement of this amount. And what happened? The most important thing is Mr. Ravi Karunanayake giving after an oath. He was telling, under an affidavit, having given an oath, he said, we had a requirement of 75 billion, and he issued a letter to that effect. An undated letter, an unaddressed letter.
An unreferenced, no reference.
No reference to whom it may concern. He has said...
And also, Mr. Sipala, I don't know, I don't want to be pedantic about this, but that letter was not typed in the same format of a letter from the Ministry of Finance. Come on. That was just a thing in the middle.
We don't
when our directors or our managers write letters, there is a certain format. There is no earthly reason why that format has been changed.
No, I mean, we don't need any further stressing or clarifications about the doubtfulness of that letter.
Yes.
That's totally appeared to be a cooked up affair just to establish certain positions taken by Arjuna Mahendran and Ravi Karunanayake.
Right. Now then,
it doesn't go beyond.
No. So that has been established, or apparently the commissioners have accepted that. Now then, the theme was, why should the Prime Minister give evidence? Tell me the reasons why Ranil Wickremesinghe, as the Minister in charge of subject of the Central Bank, should give evidence. What is relevant?
There are a number of relevant reasons for
that. Here we go.
I will start with number one, this particular issue that we were talking. The amount additionally required from the Central Bank. The Prime Minister categorically stated in his statement in the Parliament that 15 billion was required. Now, to corroborate the evidence of Malik Samaravikrama and Abir Rashid, I mean, who is a better witness than the Prime Minister himself?
Okay.
He will come and say, I knew that the recommendation was 15 billion.
Yes, and he said that in Parliament under parliamentary privilege.
And he has to give another explanation. In his statement, he said, over 100 billion worth of contracts had been given under MR regime. For contracts. And they were not. No, there were no appropriation of funds for those. Now, the question that arises is, how can the central bank provide funds to unappropriated expenditure? It's not planned for. It's not estimated.
So it has to go through the
Parliament. Under Section 148 of the Constitution. It's a matter that comes within the purview of the Parliament.
So that's that.
That is
but if we were to start at the beginning, though, it is Mr. Wickremesinghe who actually appointed Mr. Mahendran to that position over strong objections expressed at the time by the President, by Rajitha Senaratne and by Patali Champika Ranawaka, amongst others. And some of them cited Mr. Mahendran's sort of past track record in a previous government. And they were all assured by the Prime Minister.
The matter becomes more relevant in that context because it is the Prime Minister who recommended Arjuna Mahendran for that post. Now, what transpired in the Bond Commission is that there was a question at one point of time whether a foreigner, being a non-citizen, can be brought under the laws of this country. Now that's a big controversy now.
Yes, but there's almost irrelevant because we all know that anybody in this country, if they break our law, they're subject to the law.
No, but then it is a question that leads to this type of controversy at the time of appointing a person to such a high post. Vulnerable. To the highest degree.
But yes, and you're right, because the governor needs to sign an oath, and a Singaporean national can't do that because they don't recognize dual citizenship and so on. But what are the other reasons?
As the minister, you should have ascertained those. He should have ascertained those.
So he overlooked them. What are the other reasons why Mr. Wickremesinghe should come before?
Then, on the 27th of February, there was this bond scam. There was a calamity in the country. The primary dealers raised a hill of issue out of this. And on the 27th, on the 17th of March, in his statement, the Prime Minister says, I appointed the committee of inquiry on the 27th itself. That's the day of the bond issue. The day of the scam. I mean, he needs to give us a small explanation as to why. What made him appoint a committee of inquiry on the day that the bond transaction took place?
It appears that he knew something that the whole world didn't know.
Nobody knew. I mean, at 2 o'clock, there was furor in the country by the primary dealers. They were talking, you know, the son-in-law of the governor has got so much out of this 10 billion.
Yeah.
And then suddenly a committee is appointed, according to the Prime Minister.
And you know, we just about this foreigner business, we have a Ukrainian national who tried to skip the courthouse, but the charge in that case is of murder, a murder charge. So there's a Ukrainian national foreigner. The point I'm trying to make is a foreigner.
No, this goes to the previous periods also now. Now see, appointments of these people have to be very, very carefully done now.
That's right.
Now we have another case, that litro gas issue.
That's right.
Now he has been brought east. Now we find...
No, actually, that issue, Mr. Rusipala, and you must be, as a former chairman of the GEM authority, you must have gone through this process. If that person had been subject to the High Post Committee, they would have found out. The most basic, checks had not been done. So now let's go back. The various, so many questions coming through. One's asking, is the Commission of Inquiry period over? Is it over? No.
No, they can always get an extension. Of
right,
course, what is important is not the period for us. Whether we.
But it's currently on.
Currently on. Yes, currently on.
Right. Somebody says here, is it proper for us to discuss the bond issue when it is under Commission of Inquiry?
Of course, there's nothing wrong. Why is the Commission of Inquiry appointed in the first place?
Exactly.
Quoting the Attorney General's Department officials themselves, this is a public affair.
Indeed.
This is done to satisfy the needs of the public.
Yes.
Because the public raised a hue and cry about it.
Yeah.
They have a right to know what happened. They have a right to know whether their monies have been played safe with, whether the Provident Fund has been tampered with.
Another viewer says here, does he have any knowledge, does the Prime Minister, that means, have any knowledge of who is AR, AK, AA, RK, etc.?
I mean, those are
just little things.
Those are very little things. I think the Commission will know whom to accept as RK, whom to accept as RW, and all these other preferences. I mean, those are very little things, but there is direct evidence for us, very direct evidence as to what has transpired. Now take, for example, the Prime Minister says, excuse me, I want to say this, I insisted, I insisted to go for public auction system, doing away with the placements, private placements. Now, you see the consequences of that order. What has happened today? The March 2016 bond issue, which was much bigger in volume, much bigger in percept, I mean to the degree of non-acceptability, was done because of this directive. It became possible because of this directive. Indeed. And what has happened today? This directive has been nullified by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank itself, because they have now accepted that there should be a hybrid system.
And that is exactly what Gamini Vijayasinghe, the Honourable Auditor General of the country, said. At that time.
But now what has happened? Having gone through all this pell-mell in the what has happened, the Monetary Board has taken a very careful decision.
But the sad part of all this, Mr. Rusipala, is whilst all this is going on, the monies are still out there in play under their control and not under the control of this government. They're making investments, they're spending it willy-nilly. And some of the things I'd like to know, I hope that somebody somewhere is going to find out how a central banker holding the deputy governorship position, how is he able to hire expensive lawyers from the private bar? I want to know that. I don't know if I'm going to talk to our legal lady on the floor today and find out if we can do RTI.
Argument is very simple, no, Faraz. He has things going beyond the official status and the standing to safeguard. Otherwise, the central bank, under the provisions of the central bank regulations, has to provide the legal assistance to any employee if he has to, protect himself from any investigation or any inquiry.
This is a message from Peggy. Can a pensioner whose money has been misused make a complaint in response to that question of yours?
I think they can. I think they can. Any member of the public, for example, for that matter, can make a complaint on this issue. But that is not what was expected. What was required was now some authority.
In your view, are we making? Is this an inquiry? Is it sure? Because somebody is asking that. I'm sorry, this is not an inquiry. This is a public debate on a matter. I don't know about you, but the majority of the people in this country do care that a colossal sum of money has been stolen. This country's treasury has been raped in broad daylight. And if that doesn't matter, then I don't know what else does.
Let me add one little thing to that, little pinch of salt to that. The President in his proclamation has left enough room for any other inquiry to proceed or to be started while the Commission of Inquiry is going on. So we are well protected under that proclamation to talk about this issue.
Absolutely.
Even to hold a private inquiry.
Indeed.
Let it be known to that gentleman who brought that.
But I'm very interested in this SMS by Peggy, who appears to be a pensioner and is looking at these EPF funds that have obviously been. You know, they say that the losses, the EPF could have made 12.5 billion more had those dealers at the EPF not gone into the secondary market but had stayed with the primary level.
Whereas again, referring to the same context of the President's proclamation, belatedly though, today I read in the papers that the Minister of Labour, Robert Johnson Viratna, has stated that an inquiry should start about the EPF because the EPF under law comes under him.
Yes.
You know, only the monetary management falls within the central bank.
Yeah.
The entirety of the Provident Fund is falling under the administration under the Ministry of Labour.
Yes.
So he has belatedly though told that an inquiry should be started. This should have started long ago.
Now then, can we quickly do it, because we've got last 3 minutes here.
Yes.
Can we do a quick roundup of as to why Ranil Wickremesinghe would make an ideal witness and a compelling witness and a credible witness at the commission?
The report of his own commission, his own committee of inquiry, was tabled in Parliament on the 19th of May 2015. No, nothing proceeded thereafter.
Right, that's one.
That is one reason.
He appointed Arjuna Mahendran too. He continuously maintained that Mr. Mahendran was not guilty of any wrongdoing, and he was virtually employed within some government outfit, even though the Treasury says.
Worst is that when his own committee was progressing, he made a statement in the Parliament, he has done nothing wrong.
Yes.
What is that? Is that warranted?
Is that in order?
I mean, that is totally incorrect for him to say. He has appointed a committee to inquire, and he comes and says, no, he is not responsible. He is not wrong. He has done no wrong. That is what he says.
Yes.
I mean, this looks, all this is, I know why.
And this is getting to be a bit of a joke. The Prime Minister confirmed in his speech in Parliament on the 17th of March 2015 that it was 15 billion. He also said that the previous system was flawed and it was corrupt. And he said, the magic words, he said that this is what the primary dealers are saying. Arjuna Mahendran, when asked under oath, said, I don't know who those dealers are, but the Prime Minister must know. So perhaps that is another reason why the Prime Minister would make a compelling and obvious choice to be a witness.
There is a very, very carefully thing that we have to assess very carefully. This bond scam first took place on the 27th of February. This person was appointed as the governor on the 23rd of January. Between this time, so many reports appear to have come to the Prime Minister about the dealings, about the bond issues. I do not know. The country was not aware of such a thing.
And to finish it all off, the Deputy Secretary to the Treasury, Mr. Artigala, said that there was no requirement for the 15 billion anyway. So I don't know where Mr. Kabir Hashim got those figures. I don't know what they were doing at the central bank discussing that. I don't know what Malik Samaravikrama was doing.
And who convened that meeting?
And who convened that meeting.
For what purpose?
And for what purpose? These are the questions.
Yes.
And more that hopefully, if Mr. Wickremesinghe does go to the Commission...
There's one little contradiction, another one that needs a clarification. Throughout they have been telling that this is to pay to the contractors.
Yes.
But in his same statement he says this money is required to pay for the development work in the areas.
Mr. Rusripala Tenakon, that's a wonderful point. Thank you very much. This has been Newsline. It's been wonderful having you here. We wish you a great week ahead. And that's the way it was from Newsline on Monday, the 16th of October 2017. Take care and God bless.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.